We're back at the diary session again. So it's usually a session where you smile, and you smile without restrictions. A moment where we interact together and just feel good with ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you want to tell me about your feeling? I mean, what's going on inside of you?
Nothing.
During the week, you had a brand new topic or class. You were introduced to fishing or fishery.
Yes, fishery.
Can you tell me what that meant to you?
It means a lot because I have this interest in fishery too. And going there to see the whole process was amazing because I've been seeing so many fish ponds, but I've never been in contact to see the experiment they do all the time. This was my first time. It was really amazing, and from the first day, I really my interest was just moving and all that, getting stronger. And I guess before we leave this place, I'm going to be more, I will have more knowledge and be more packaged about the whole process.
Does it mean the interest in fish farming is more than the interest in poultry?
No. For now, I can't weigh them. They're just the two, because the two of them are actually good. Although in the poultry production, poultry will give you more money because it's just a matter of every 3 months or 4 months. While in the fishery, if you really want to sell higher price, you have to wait till 1 year. That is when your fish will be very mature. But although we still have in some cases where you can sell your fish at the end of 5 months, but I will still go for the one of 1 year. So at the same time, still trying to weigh the two. But I think
so as an entrepreneur, you will say that fish farming would give you more money than poultry farming?
No. I would say poultry farming will give me more money than fish farming. If I'm able to manage the whole process of poultry farming very well.
Do you think fish farming is a big challenge in our country, Nigeria? Or do you think we have adequate fish farming culture in Nigeria?
No, we don't have adequate. We still have little issues in fish farming, because for me, I think the number of fish they produce is not still enough for the population, and that is what is making the fish to be expensive in some parts of Nigeria. So I believe if we have more fish ponds and more fishery production, it will reduce the cost of fish.
If you are in this position of making the entire country to go into fish farming, what would be that major conviction point that you use? Because not everybody will want to, but if you have to, what would be the enticement? How will you mobilize a country to go into fish farming?
Wow. In the real sense, not so many people don't eat fish, but fish is very proteinous and it's very good for the human being system. So I will make sure encourage for the production of fishery to be more in the country, then introducing more packaging processes like dry fish. You process them, you dry them very well, package it very well, distribute it to different states. Maybe if they stop, I would like to call it importing fishes into the country, maybe it will help a lot. That is when we'll be able to produce more fish in the country. And if the necessary the necessary equipment and the funds have been raised or given to we the farmers, I think it really go a long way in helping in the fishery production.
Okay, back to home. After speaking all the Oyibos, would you tell me how you and your teammate have been faring throughout the week? What's anything new that you noticed that you want to tell me privately?
No, nothing new. What I noticed, for now, what I noticed is that they're just good and caring people. Because ever since I had that incident, it's like I'm wondering, wow, so these people really do care about me this much. And it's amazing and all that.
Tell me about your house captain.
She's nice, she's a strong woman. She's bold, she's brave, she's confident, and she's good. Because let me use an example again. When I had that accident the other day, she was like, I don't know, like when I heard a voice, when I heard someone, like I heard a voice talking to me, just say to yourself, you're strong. Say to yourself, you're strong. I heard it 3 times. And when I repeated, I'm strong, that was when I was able to open my eyes. And I saw her holding me, and I was like, wow, she's really a godsend. So she's just a good person.
She's quite a good person. You love all of them.
They are good people. Although the time is short for you to be able to know an individual everything about. Somebody cannot be 100% good. We all have our bad sides, but for now, I think I'm going to pick the good part of them.
Because I tried to ask you, because I'm not too sure that you stay in the same house with 9 girls, and there is nothing to tell me, no character problem, no attitude problem. Is this God that are you a spirit?
No, it's not that we are spirit. Although that's why I said we all have our differences, but no big issues. Like I've not encountered any like big issues with anybody. My roommates are just cool. They are understanding people. When living with a group of girls, all you need is understanding. You just have to understand the next person for you to be able to follow that person up. But it's only when there's no understanding, that is when you see everyday issues and all that, then you have to tolerate again. Because you're not going to stay here forever. It's just for a matter of time. And if you're not able to understand or tolerate the next person, that means I don't know what to say about you.
Do you think you're getting votes from the public as you should?
For now, I don't know. I've not been on with media, so I don't know anything about that.
Okay, God saved you. All right. So, if you had answered my question, then you'll be penalized. Thank you, and you may leave.
Thank you, sir.
Doris.
Sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
Just tell me everything about all that happened this week for you and how you feel. Tell me about it, because I noticed you're smiling. Maybe it's like something is going on that I don't know. Discuss it with me.
Nothing much. It's just normal activities. Nothing.
What about inside of you? What are you feeling inside?
I'm okay.
Are you counting days for this program to end?
What can I say? Yes, I think we've been away, and probably we're feeling home now.
So, we feel like going home. We feel like going home soon.
At the end of the program, yes.
Oh, okay. So So, would you tell me about your new course that you were introduced to this week? Tell me about it and how you received it.
The lecture we had yesterday, or
your new course, the fishery.
Okay. Actually, the fishery is educated. I like the path of fishery, and I think I've learned one or two things. Although I actually have an idea, but not to this extent. As in spawning the eggs, I don't know about that. I think I've learned from that. I just pray, but go back, God help me, start up my own.
So I want to ask you, between fishery and poultry, which would you preferably want to set up for yourself?
The both. Yeah.
Can you describe the difference between both of them?
I think there is not much different about both of them. Poultry, you need to put more attention on the chicks to enable them survive. Understand? I think fishery is the same. If you don't take care or follow the procedure, you might lose out of it.
Today there's going to be a change of house captainship. Who would you pick? Who would you, in your heart, who would you pick to be the next house captain?
What do I pick? Okay. I think Essay is good to go.
You think Essay can lead you people?
Yeah.
Or you just want to give her a try? You just want to give her a try?
Exactly.
Not because you know that she can lead you people?
But I think she will. She can.
Does she have leadership quality in her?
Yeah. I will say Essay, she's lively, she's fun. I think she's good.
Doris, you're going to tell me the truth now. And the truth you're going to tell me is about, among your fellow contestants, there is one that you don't connect with. Who is that?
I connect with everybody.
Earlier in the week, you were feeling a bit down. How do you feel now?
I'm perfectly fine. I think took some paracetamol and I asked the sickness, you have to leave, or this is not the time. And I think I'm fine now.
You are?
Yeah.
You are, because I can see your Rastafarian here. Okay, Doris, that'll be the end of your session. You may leave.
Thank you.
Today seemed to be a bit of a calm, cool day for you, and you're looking a bit all lit up. Tell me what's happening.
Nothing. I just feel, let me do something different from the usual. Just do something different.
So just that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling now?
I've always been a royalty, so I just feel, let me show it today. And today being the diary section, the diary session day, like, let me just say, the day I most feared. So I decided to encourage myself with the little glam.
But unfortunately, I tell women, it's always been very nice at the diary session, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell Women tries to make you feel yourself and relate properly and not to attack you, isn't it?
Yes.
So I was thinking that it should be the best day of the week for you.
Well, it's becoming the best day of the week for me, and that's why you're seeing the smile on the face. And let me say my 2 diary sections before, my first 2 diary sections before others, it has not really been. It has been a very tense day. How would I put it in English?
Okay, thanks to Tell Women, they try to make the session calm
for me.
For you.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
The week you had a new course introduced to what you guys were doing.
Yes.
And that is fishery.
Yes.
Tell me about how you embrace how it hits you, especially when you were involved in those practicals and all of that. Just tell me about it.
I was excited about it because I thought it was not going to come, because I've been talking about this. I've been saying, when are we going for fishery? And I've been talking about both feed meal, like compounding feed by ourselves, and one of those things came, so I was excited about it and I enjoyed every bit of it.
Let's talk about artificial spawning.
Okay.
What is it all about?
It's about artificially mating the fish, like the female fish that is matured enough, and the male fish that is matured enough. According to what we were told, the instructor said that the fishes, let me use that in English, does not mate in captivity, in the sense that when they have been captured and they are being reared in a particular place different from their usual habitat, that's the natural habitat, there's a gland that they secrete. They call it pituitary gland, and when that gland is secreted, they mate and they reproduce. But when they are in captivity, they don't naturally produce the gland, so they induce them by injecting the gland that researchers came up with during research. They inject it into the female, and the female naturally produce the egg, and they try to let fertilization take place by introducing the male milt, which is the sperm normal for human being, but for fish it is called milt. So they introduced it there by fertilizing the egg that was produced by the female after stripping the female fish out of stripping the egg out of the female fish. The fertilization takes place by introducing the milt. So, and we were taught how to do it. We did it, and we came up with the larva stage of the fish. I think we're going into fingerlings now.
As an entrepreneur,
yes, sir.
Which of the business, when I mean business of poultry, business of fishery, would you embark on? Am
I choosing from the boat?
From the boat.
From the boat. I love to do fish. I love to do fishery, but for now, I think I'll just go with the broiler rearing for now. Although I'll still look into fishery.
Give me a reason why.
Because of my environment and capital. So I would love to do broiler for now.
So which is capital intensive?
I think fish is capital intensive. Broiler is just for eight weeks, and you can plan both their feeding, their drugs, their everything. You can know what it will take. Although fish too, you can know what it will take, but 4 months is too long. Then where I stay, fish is, as in to buy fish there is very cheap, so I can't do that for now because of my environment, and I don't think I have a market for it yet for now.
In the country, Nigeria,
yes, sir.
Do you think there is there is lack of fish or lack of availability of fish in the country?
Yes, there is. There is, in the sense that I really don't know if I'm wrong, but I think people still import fish. They still do. And even the roasted ones, I think people still import them.
What is the reason for lack of
low
productivity,
of fish? Low production, like the demand is lower than the supply. So some people see opportunity, business opportunity in it, and they decide to import from other countries.
How would you improve the production of fish in Nigeria?
If I have the capital.
How would you improve if you are in a position of making valuable contribution to the country as regarding fish production? How would you improve production of fish in Nigeria?
Firstly, I will make sure that all link to importation of fish is closed down, so fishes are not imported from outside the country. And I will make sure that I, as a person, if being provided with the capital, I will venture into fishery and make sure I know what the market demand is, and I will employ labor. I will employ more labor. Then I will do the production of the fish and make sure the demand and the supply balance.
So how would you make fishery, production of fishes, a lucrative business in Nigeria?
Okay. I think apart from the normal catfish that we have, there are other fishes too that can be added that are more I think they are more they are cheaper, so someone that doesn't have much money can be able to afford it. Then to make sure that it doesn't lose value, I can add value by maybe roasting and packaging it so that I can transport or import it to other countries. Export it to other countries. Sorry for the English.
All right, so fine, let's come back home.
Okay.
How is it possible that you and other 8 girls will live in the same apartment without having divisions? How is that possible?
Everybody has just been trying. I've been trying. Not that sometimes you just have to overlook, neglect, and move on.
So I want to know those things.
Easy.
I want to know those things that you overlook and then you move on.
I really can't remember anyone, but I can't remember anyone.
Your memory won't be that blank, I guess.
I really can't remember anyone, but the one that happened this morning was myself and one of my roommates, Faith. I went to spread my clothes outside and I shifted some clothes and she got angry over it, and I was trying to explain, and that was it. It didn't how will I put it? It didn't extend to something else. We were able to tackle it and deal with it.
So they're just little picking here, picking there.
Yes.
Don't you think that is uncomfortable?
It is, but you just have to endure. You can't change it. Someone just have to endure. And
do you have the capacity to endure?
Without this, what's it called, problematic person.
Do you have the capacity to endure that?
I'll try. I'm trying.
What if you try and you get off your limit?
I'm not sure I will.
Who would you like to be the next house captain?
Who? Apart from the ones that I've served before, I think I like Peculiar being the house captain. I like Aleto too being the house captain. And who else?
Just one.
One more person.
Just one.
Okay.
But today there's going to be a change. Who would you like to be the next house captain?
Apart from the persons that I've served before.
Anybody you want today to be the next house captain?
Okay, clear is fine.
All right, Esther. This is the end of your diary session.
Thank you, sir.
You may leave.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Fasusi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the diary session.
Thank you, sir.
How has your week been?
Great, sir.
Is there anything that just happened specifically that you want to discuss with me?
Nothing, sir.
Did you come to the diary session with anything in mind to tell me?
The only thing I can tell you for the week was so great, so fantastic. Try the week.
Tell me about your fishery class during the week.
Okay, sir. The fish practical, it was so interesting. This is my first time of having this practical fish, and I learned a lot of things there concerning the spawning.
Go on.
Artificial spawning, which is male and female. They show us the difference between the male and female. That the female fish is the one that's robust, and while the male fish is the one that didn't robust.
So in spawning, what exactly is spawning?
So the way they explain to us in spawning, that once you differentiate between the male and female. So if you want to know the actual thing about spawning, you will hold the male with gradually we will turn it so that you will know the actual. We will know the actual things, and we will know the actual, maybe it's male or female. The man told us that you will turn it gradually until you turn it to the right place.
How has your birds been faring?
They are doing fine, sir.
Are they growing?
Yes, sir. They are eating very well. Eating very well, drinking very well. They are doing fine, sir.
So your birds are eating more than you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who would you like to nominate today as the new house captain?
Contestant number 3.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much, Fasusi.
Thank you, sir.
For being at the diary session.
Thank you, sir.
You may leave now.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the diary session.
Thank you.
You look a bit like you're having a wedding party today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll find a way and get a match for you. Is that good?
Not yet, though.
Alexa, what is artificial spawning?
Artificial spawning. Okay, artificial spawning is the process of artificially inseminating a female fish. Like artificially inseminating them on your own without their consent.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Okay, let me try to rephrase. Artificial spawning is the process of performing, or it's the process of getting fishes. Oh God, how am I going to put this now? Artificial spawning. Okay, artificial spawning involves fishes, the process of bringing them together to make fingerlings and fries.
Is that it?
Yes.
You're going to be a teacher?
Yes.
You're going to be a teacher.
Okay.
What is the difference between fish business and poultry business?
The difference between fish business and poultry business: fishes and chicks, or fishes and chickens. Poultry business has to do with rearing chickens, chicks, turkeys, while fish has to do with different types of fish. Fishery has to do with different types of fish, rearing different types of fish, catfish, tilapia fish, and so on.
Yes, I didn't say fish farming, I said business.
Okay.
If you as a farmer, you want to engage in either of them as your business, what's the difference, and why would you want to engage in fish farming or poultry farming? What's the difference that makes you think that this business is good and this one is not?
Okay, I think the both of them are both lucrative businesses. The demand for poultry products or chickens, as laymen would call it, or as we would call it, is very high. Just the same way the demand for fish is high equally. So they are both lucrative businesses, especially in this part.
Fish farming is not popular in Nigeria. Why is that?
I would say it is because there's importation is very high. Everybody just think about it, okay, they are importing fishes, let's do something else, something that is already here. So I believe it's because of importation. And then another thing is that it takes time. It takes time. Fish farming takes more time than poultry. So yes, to rear fish up to table size, it will take about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So it takes time.
As a trained entrepreneur, would you invest in poultry farming or would you invest in fish farming?
Okay, as a trained entrepreneur, I think I would go into the both of them side by side because of the knowledge I have about integrated farming. So yes, I think I'll go into them together. Without
considering you're going into this farming based on the knowledge you have, without considering the business part, the money you're going to invest in it, whether you're going to lose or you're going to gain, you're not making that as a consideration. You're only making consideration based on the knowledge you have.
This is because I am trained both in poultry farming and fish farming, so I definitely would know how to go about merging the two of them and realizing adequate profit and all.
What are the chances of losing your investment in fish farming?
The chances of losing your investment? Well, we're still on the process of fish farming. I haven't really gotten a clear knowledge on the diseases of poultry, of fishes, or fishery. I haven't gotten a clear knowledge. Well, I think it's minimal.
At the level of knowledge you have, if you are given 1 million naira to invest in farming,
yes,
would you invest that money in fishery or would you invest it in poultry?
I would like to say I would invest it in the both of them. Why? Because it's, as in my cost of production, integrated farming, like I said before, is the process of ensuring zero wastage on the farm. So my waste in one place can be a source of energy, or my waste in the poultry can be a source of energy on my fish farm. So I will do the two. Can't waste 1 million naira.
Which of the farming will be more profitable to you?
More profitable, I would say poultry farming, especially rearing of broilers. Very profitable. After 8 weeks, the cycle continues. After 8 weeks, the next cycle continues. Yes. And then for fish farming too, okay, yes, I would say poultry farming, but for fish farming, if I would want to rear fishes too, I can stop at the fingerling stage. Very lucrative. A lot of persons don't want to involve themselves in artificial spawning, so they just want to buy fingerlings. And if I can do that too, it will be a very lucrative business.
So you're telling us and the world that both business is good and lucrative?
Both businesses are good, yes.
We should not look at how long it will take us to recover our investment.
Like I already said, if you want to, like me, stop at the fingerling stage, it's very lucrative. 4 to 6 weeks, and you have fingerlings that you can sell to persons that want to rear to table size. And for the poultry, 8 weeks you are done too. You can sell your broiler. So both businesses are very lucrative.
As the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, how would you encourage fish farming?
Okay. I would do this I would encourage fish farming by placing a ban on importation, and then advising or bringing out means, aids and everything, grants to individuals that would want to go into fish farming. It will aid, as in it will encourage more persons to go into fish farming, and then the business will keep increasing and increasing. So first of all, placing a ban on importation of fish produce or fishes. Although I know that there are some species of fishes that cannot be produced here, well, I would still try my best, or let it stage by stage, let it go minimal, and then completely close it.
If your first action will be to place ban on importation of fish, have you also considered that knowledge is another factor?
Yes, of course.
So why have you not mentioned knowledge?
That's the thing. If I set up something, the first step is to put that ban. When I place the ban on importation, and then individuals would want to go here, check here, come up with things, and then to move forward. So the education is definitely there. The education will come with the empowerment. So, yes.
During the week, you had a session online.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the session?
Yeah. The session was with a lady named Alexis Michael, and she taught us about being entrepreneurs, the best way or the best things to look at, before you can successfully call yourself a successful entrepreneur. So that's what it was about.
Did you learn anything?
Yes, I learned.
Give me specifics what you learned.
Okay, I learned a lot of things. Okay, I learned that your main aim to opening a business should not just be finance. Although I learned that some of the reasons why you embark on a personal business, financial stability or financial security, economic stability, long-run profits and all that. Well, I learned most especially that your interest should come into play when you are planning to become an entrepreneur, or when you are planning a career for yourself. Your interest should come into play. And then I also learned that not all interests are monetizable, as she called it. Not all interests. So you should check yourself, do your homework, know if you can actually make a living out of what you're about to embark on. Yes.
Okay, there's going to be a shift, an emergent of a new house captain. Who would your preference be?
My preference? Okay, I would want Essie to emerge as the house captain. I feel like there's a lot she can offer, and I would want to see how much she can exercise her power, because she has this territorial thing around her. So yes, I would really want to see what she can do.
So she controls her territory.
She's a very territorial person.
I like that word. Stephanie, you've made my day by telling me the truth about Essie. And this is the end of your diary session. You may leave.
Thank you very much.
How has your week been? How has your week been?
It has been fine and also stressful too.
You had a class on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Can you tell me about it? What you learned? What you went back home with?
Yes, I actually learned a lot from...
Speak up.
I actually learned a lot from Miss Alexis Michael. She talked about entrepreneurship, and she talked about how to be on your own, the boss of your own. She also talked about venturing into a business is something that you must have interest on. If you don't have interest on a particular business, there's no way you can succeed. And she also talked about that no matter how it is in a business, there must always be challenges. And it's all about perseverance and endurance. Definitely, when you start a business, you will still fall. But when you keep on going, you will definitely succeed. So,
okay, you are in a competition, and two things are staring at you: fish farming and poultry farming.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little about fish farming, given that you've been introduced into fish farming recently?
Well, a few little things I learned about the fish farming is how to identify the female. We did actually artificial spawning. Then he taught us how to identify the male and the female. He said the male, to identify the female, is robust. The female's fish is robust in nature. Then the male also is also slender, as in slim, to identify it. And he also said some other few things. Some kind of big words that I cannot really recall right now. But to me, I think I prefer the poultry because it's okay to me.
You were introduced to how to care for a fish, and you were introduced to how to care for
Poultry.
poultry, for the chicks.
Yes.
Can you tell me the difference?
Well, I don't really think they're different. They are like the same. You need to care for the fish and also the poultry. The same way you care for the fish, the same thing also you care for the poultry, because you need to be close, you need to pay close attention to the two. So they are both the same. If you don't care for the fish, it will die. If you don't care for the poultry, it will also die. So they are both the same.
Go and fix it. Oh yes, you were telling me about poultry. If you don't take care of your fish, your birds, they will die. If you don't take care of your fish, they will die.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense to me.
You talked about care.
Yes.
I just told you that the two actually need a close care. Fishery and poultry need a close care.
How do you take care of fish? How do you take care? What are the things that you do? How do you take care of fish? Because they cannot be the same, because they are different species.
You feed them. You feed them. I think you try to know the amount of food to give to them, and how to. You talked about the outlets and the inlets. How to make sure you gauge the water to, the inlet to let the water out, and also refilling it again the next day. That is in the aspect of the what is it called again? The larva, the process. So from there, you also feed the fish too. Then in terms of the poultry, you also have to feed the chicks and also give them medicated water. Then there's also a gauge, as in like there's a gauge too in terms of feeding the poultry, the chicks.
Is it more hectic taking care of feeding the fish than feeding the birds?
I think I prefer the chicks. In terms of fishery, you have to take time, and it takes longer, like up to 1 year. But at least the fish can last, in terms of the poultry, the chicks, we have broiler. You can stay for like 6 or 7 weeks before you start selling. But you see the fishery, if you actually want what you want, like you really want a big fish, you have to stay like up to 1 year. So I don't really have that time.
If you are given ₦1 million to invest in a farm, which of the farm will you invest in, and why?
I'm going to invest in poultry, broiler, to emphasize. only starts with broiler. And the reason is because it is for meat production, and it also sells fast. It gives quick money.
So fish is not meat production.
Fish also gives money, but the time limit is longer.
So the difference for you is that this one takes longer and they don't take shorter time.
Yes.
And not to tell me about how much you can recoup from it. That's not your concern.
I know I will get money from poultry. I will. But fish too, you can also get money too. But if there's endurance.
So let me rephrase. How profitable is fish farming to poultry farming?
Well, in Nigeria today, I can't really say, but I think the poultry is more profitable than the fish.
Since you mentioned Nigeria, I'm going to ask you, why is fish farming not popular in Nigeria?
Well, I think it is not popular because of the rate of time it takes. And to me, I feel most people prefer meat than fish. When it comes to like chicken, like the poultry, they prefer that to the fishery.
If you are a minister of agriculture in Nigeria and you're faced with the fact that fish farming is not popular in Nigeria, how would you make fish farming popular in Nigeria?
I would close the border of fishery and also employ more people in the fishery industry. People that can take care, most people that are vast in fishery, I'll employ them.
So your reason for lack of popularity of fish farming in Nigeria is because of the border?
I think so.
That's what you think?
Mm-hmm.
Why fish farming is not popular is because the border is open?
Yes. I think, to me, I felt that's it.
Essay.
Sir?
You're teaching me something new. Okay. You've told me about artificial spawning. You've said that, isn't it? Did you lecture me on that? Okay, you don't know. Okay, I'm going to ask you. What is artificial spawning?
I talked about identifying, like he gave us artificial spawning.
You identify. So I'm asking you, what is artificial spawning, or what is spawning in fishery?
To me, spawning is, how am I going to put this now? Trying to reproduce the fish to form together. That's reproduction. Bringing them together to form a fish. Just like a male and a female meeting together to reproduce a child. So that's what spawning is. Reproduction.
Does fish reproduce in a captivity condition? Does fish reproduce in captivity?
I don't understand captivity.
Does fish reproduce in captivity?
I don't really understand the captivity. So I need to throw more light on it.
Does fish reproduce in a captivity or in captivity? Can fish reproduce in captivity?
Yes.
Explain.
Well, I think in captivity, they have to come together, they have to meet together. I mean, that as in eat, like they have to meet together, and there must be heat process. In the process, they have to be hot for them to meet together.
Let's say that's not correct. Back home. There's going to be a new captain position show today.
Okay.
Who would you nominate to be the next house captain?
I think Faith. Faith.
Give me your reason.
Faith is okay for the one day she displayed her house captainship. She was okay.
Give me a reason. Okay is not a reason.
She's fit for the house captain.
When I ask a reason, you must tell me what is it, quality or what is not quality that makes
Okay,
someone.
she is strong. And she can be able to defend herself and also the contestant.
They said that'll be all for now. You may leave.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Faith.
Hello, sir.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Miss Faith, you were introduced to fish farming.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question relating to a subject matter that you guys dealt with. And the question is, what is artificial spawning?
Artificial spawning is just the process of mating the male and the female fish together to produce other fishes called fingerling. This is because they cannot mate in captivity, so we have to do it humanly, being the brooding stock of the fish. So we do it ourselves.
I want you to describe that process from start to the point where you fertilize.
Okay. At first, when you bring the fishes, you identify the male, you identify the female. And how do you identify the male and the female? You turn it, I should use the word vertical, as in you turn it upside down. Then the fish with robust tummy, then is the female. That is the first. You check the robust tummy is the female. Then under the tummy there is two organs, which is the anus and the genital opening. Then that is the female. Then you massage a little bit from the head region of the abdomen. Then a slight egg will come out. Then you know is the female. Then that of the male, you still turn it upside down, is a little bit long than the female fish. Then it still have two organs, which is the anus and the genital papilla. Then after that, you open the tummy of the male. When you open it, you bring an organ. There is an organ which you bring from the tummy of the fish. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of the organ. Then you open it. When you open it, there is a milky whitish, a milky liquid organ that will come out, which is called the meat. Then that of the female, you massage and bring the egg out. When you bring the egg out, you put it into a bowl, a dry bowl. Then that meat, you also put it inside another bowl, a dry bowl. You use a solution which is mixed with water and salt to rinse it. Then you turn it into the egg. But before then, you have to inject the female fish. You have to inject the female fish a day before the next day, which the process will be carried out, which is, let me say, if you have to do it today, you have to inject the female fish last night, and it will last for 9 to 11 hours, so that the egg can get ready for
fertilization. Then you pour the milk into the egg and turn it, which after turning it, you spray it into the net.
How long does the egg transform to the larva after fertilization?
He said it's to be 3 to 4 days.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Yes.
You're sure? All right. So now I'm going to ask you, if you have money to invest in farming or in farm, it can be either poultry farming or fish farming. Which of these would you want to invest your money in as an entrepreneur, given that your motive is profit maximization?
I would like to go with the two. I would like to combine the two farming system.
Give me your reason.
Because I think I can do well in both of them. I have the knowledge of both of them, and like that of the fishery, I would like to go into the fishery so that I can be able to also meet with the demands of people. The same thing as poultry. I would just like to combine the two together so that I can be able to meet with the demand of.
Yesterday you went through an entrepreneurship class, and I'm expecting that after the class you are able to define exactly what kind of business you do. And here you sit down here to tell me that the reason why you go for both of them is because of the knowledge you have. Faith, Miss Faith, you will fail.
No.
You can't tell me that you're going into business because of the knowledge you have without considering other things that are more important than the knowledge you have.
No, why?
Are you aware that you may not have a knowledge of a thing, but you can set it up, and those who have knowledge can get things going for you and you make money? And I gave you a hint that said, given that you are going into this for profit maximization.
Going into, if you don't have a knowledge of something and you go into it, I don't think you can be able to profit, because it's what you have the knowledge, what you have the idea, and know how to go about it. Then you will follow the right procedure.
You are given money, Faith. You are said if you have money to invest. Let's say you have $1 million to invest in farming. And you tell me you will go for both of them because of the knowledge you have, and you're not even looking at what are the parameters.
Not just the knowledge.
You've not done the feasibility study to understand that, okay, even though I have knowledge for this thing, if I put this money, it may not sell or it may sell. You didn't tell me that.
I also said that I will also go into it because I want it as a medium to create, to solve other people's problem, knowing fully well that the adequate rate of fishery is not meeting up with the demand of people.
Do you think you maximize profit more when you go into fish farming?
Yes.
You maximize profit more than poultry farming?
Yes.
What are the risks of going into either of the business?
The risk of going into the two business, like that of the poultry, the risk there, it doesn't have much fishery, doesn't have much risk than that of the poultry, because the poultry is easily attacked with diseases and infections if proper care is not taken.
Miss Faith, today there's going to be an election of a new class house captain, or rather house captain. Can you nominate someone for me that you would like to become your house captain?
I'd like to nominate Ekulia Oga to continue.
That will be the end of your diary section. You may leave. Hello, Miss Deborah.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what discussion has been going on in that camp. While you were there, what were you discussing?
Actually, I was not discussing. I was even resting
your head.
They were discussing sharp, but I was sleeping.
How many people talked about their session there? How many people will make reference to their session here there?
I can't remember.
You can't remember, but some said something regarding their session.
They were discussing normally there.
Normally. Okay. Deborah,
Sir.
You were at the fish farming class. What is spawning?
Spawning. Understanding, it's just the female fish to fertilize egg inside. That's what I understand.
So describe it for me. Describe the process for me.
Okay. First of all, they are going to inject the female fish around, say we can inject it in the night, then 24 hours to bring out the egg. If the egg is white, it's not ready. The fish is not ready. If the egg is light green, it's in the process. If the egg is dark green, it's ready. And if the egg is brown, ever ready.
Go on.
Okay. Then the male fish, they are going to cut the tummy. Although we are not there when they cut it, but they just show us the meat. Then we open it, bring out the meat, then mix it with salt and water. We use the water, then we now pour it in the egg, turn it for 2 minutes to fertilize well. Then we now spread it on the hatchery.
So you spread it on a hatchery.
Yes.
How long does it take for you to check it, for it to go into the next level? What's the next level after that? Is it the larva level? So how long does it take to get to the larva stage?
It's 30 hours to get to the larva stage.
If you're given opportunity, or rather you're given funding to invest in farm business, which of the business will you likely invest your money in?
Actually, I wanted to use it too, because the fishery, I won't go further. I will stop at the fingernail stage. So I'll just sell it to the people that will. Then I prefer the two.
Which one is more profitable?
Poultry. It's more profitable.
So why do you want to go into business that is not profitable to you?
That one can help you, but I just like it.
So you don't do business because you like it. You do business because it's going to profit you and you're going to make money. So you're telling me that you do both business. The one will profit you most and the other one will not profit you, and you still go into the business.
That one too can profit.
But you told me that poultry will profit you more.
Yes.
So why do you want to go to a business that will not profit you and waste money?
I just wanted to add them together, that's why.
Who would you like to be your next house captain?
Should I call anyone that just want? Okay, let me say SC.
Give me your reason.
My reason is she's capable to lead. She's capable.
Capable is not defining. Give me specific what you have seen that makes you feel that she can lead.
How am I going to explain this? She's brilliant. Also, she can speak. She's a friendly type. So I think she can handle it.
Deborah, this is the end of your diary session. You may leave.
Okay, thank you.
Recently, you had a session on entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
I want you to tell me exactly what you learned from there.
Okay. Miss Alexis Michael actually introduced us to a whole lot of things we needed to know about entrepreneurship. It actually exposed me personally to how I can actually make use of my creative ideas into businesses that can result to profits or earnings. She also talked about also making use of your hobbies, something you like to do, to create it into a business for you. So she also talked about entrepreneurship in different aspects, understanding that sometimes even when you think it might be very tasking to start up something, but you just start small. You can just start from where you are and grow gradually. So you must not wait for the big funds or capital to start up a business as an entrepreneur.
Okay, so as an entrepreneur, you are faced with fish farming and poultry farming. Which of these business would you look at critically and say, this is the one that I will do that will give me profit?
Okay, right from the day we had the entrepreneurship classes with Miss Alexis, I had to go home and I sat down to calculate and to check which would actually be profitable, which I can start from my small beginning, because I may not have all the resources I have. And I came up with an idea looking at the fact that, okay, from my end, where I come from, the land or the space may not be available sudden or soon. So, but instead of sitting down idle, I could start up something. And I told myself that I think the poultry would be a good one.
Did you consider profit maximization in your study?
Yes, I did.
And you think poultry will give you at least the profit that you needed?
Not like poultry would all give me the resources I need, but I actually checked and balanced what I have at hand based on the teachings we had on entrepreneurship. You must not just sit down and wait for the big offer. So when I considered that, I told myself, I think poultry, with where I have, can actually start up something for me. And then subsequently, I like fishery a lot too. I'll venture into fishery.
Very good, very good. I want to ask you, it appears that in Nigeria, there is low participation of fish farming. People don't really get themselves involved in fish farming like they do in poultry farming. What do you think is the cause of this, and what can change? How can it be taken care of?
Okay, number one, I want to talk about the policies that have actually been. We realize that a whole lot of farmers think they want to start with something that doesn't stress them without even considering that sometimes it may not really be what it is. Now, I talk about policies because people have actually gone into poultry a whole lot and also fallen off poultry farming. Because when you don't actually consider the risk involved, the profit margin, and several other things, you realize that it may not actually yield the way it needs to yield. But when policies are made, and then those policies also covers the fact that, okay, farmers could actually be empowered to go into fishery instead of just poultry, it would help. And then number two, people want to follow what everyone is doing. They want to follow the trend. Everyone is in poultry. Okay, I want to do poultry. People also have not considered that, they've not considered that poultry is a short-term business. Fishery is actually a little long-term business, but there's profit in it. It's just patience in business.
So, what it means is that poultry, if you invest your money in poultry, it will take a while to recover it. I mean, sorry, in fishery.
Yes, but when the return comes,
it's huge.
Yes.
But poultry is short-term investment.
Yes, sir.
And short-term recouping.
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct. I want to ask you, what is spawning?
Okay, spawning. Spawning is the act of bringing a male fish and a female to inseminate, to be able to produce fingerlings that turns into fishes that we all see.
Describe the process.
Okay, the process is, now for the female fish, you realize that when you turn it vertically, on the tummy, you realize that it's a bit swollen. Now the swollen is not because it's sick, it's because that's how you can identify that it can actually bring out eggs that turns into turns into larvae, and from larvae to fingerlings. So the process is you actually bring the female and turn it vertically, and then press from the bottom to the head region. You realize that from the organ, the eggs begin to come out. That's how you can identify that, okay, this is also a female or a female fish. Then the male fish is actually cut into two. But before you actually do this, you must make sure that your fishes have actually stayed up to a year and above. You cannot actually go to the wild or to anywhere to just get any kind of fish, because you want to identify the male and the female. But when they're up to a year and above, you can actually be able to identify from their organs and then be able to press. Sometimes the organs for the female is not very, you cannot see it clearly, but the process of pressing that, you can see when the eggs comes out. And then the male is, through the injections of insemination, the eggs are formed more and then kept for 16 hours, and then after that brought out, and then the male fish is slaughtered using their sperm, which is the ground meats, to inseminate into the female, and then kept for a while too, which results to larvae. And then from the larva, it stays for 2 days. You begin to see your fingerlings growing up gradually.
The fishes sponge or spawn in captivity?
Yes, they do. They do. But that is where it's called the artificial spawning.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. There's going to be a change of house captain, which you, as you know, you are the current house captain.
Yes,
and
sir.
in few hours, the position will be taken off you, and someone else will be in that position.
Okay, sir.
Who would you like to take over from you?
I'd like Essie to lead.
During your regime, are there any challenges that you faced, whether good or bad?
Will I say there were no challenges? Because I tried to realize that everyone had different temperaments and personalities, but I was able to flow along with everyone. So we flowed along.
Was there event that occurred that you would like to share with me?
Well, there was an event that happened this morning, though I was in a hurry because I think they all had the time to talk. But I was concerned about rushing up and getting set with the time limit we had. But when I heard it from my room, I had to run out. What's wrong? So I went to room 17, where I have, what's their name? Where I had Esther and Faith and Alaba. And I rushed in. What's wrong? Because I heard them, I think, arguing about something. And because we were actually excited in my room and singing. So when I got there, I didn't want to ask them what's the problem, because I didn't want explanations. Looking at one, we have to meet up the time. Two, we also have to make sure that I don't bring this one explaining, and then bring in more issues. So I just told them, if you realize that life is a good place, you would enjoy it. So why not join me to sing? So they just laughed about it, and suddenly it stopped. But I think they were just arguing about who should spread clothes here, who should not spread clothes here, which was a small thing for me that wouldn't have actually resulted to any issues if they were actually understanding. So that was it.
Which other event again took place during your regime?
Okay. I had one of the contestants, Itesi, who actually slipped off and fell. And that was actually a sad moment for us, because like today, she couldn't join us to farm. We missed her. But as soon as we went back, we actually prayed with her. We just stayed along. And I realized that when she saw us coming back happy, and then all of us walked into her room, exciting, and then just seeing her about what happened, and then just prayed with her. She got up, went to the bathroom, took her bath, and she was fine.
What a tedious regime for you.
Yes, but amidst it all, we still scaled through.
So no devil can stop you?
Not at all. I don't see anything stopping me.
Peculiar, thank you for being a leader.
Thank you so much, sir.
And this is the end of your diary session. You may leave.
Thank you, sir.